Okay, is that it? Okay, so maybe we need to slide.
Or y'all want me to get all y'all?
Yeah, that's probably better. That would probably better. Just let me know if that works.
Say, hey, Rob.
Oh, do you want us to close the door? Or, yeah, we probably should close the door because, since it's pointing that way. I'll way over here though, so I'll probably just slide over.
Yeah.
Slide over.
Your mic down, in front of your face.
Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, Lord.
Hey girl, hey, you alright?
No.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Don't claim that.
You got this. Okay. All right, welcome, ladies.
Hey girl,
Hey.
Hey.
All right. Here we are, Through the Nets. It's bigger than basketball. Our first episode, and it's called Purpose. All right. So for those of you who are new and do not know us, if you haven't seen us already, out and about on different people's podcasts and interviews, this group is a group of mothers who have all come together because of the basketball that our sons play. Although we are, parents of mothers, some mothers also have daughters who play sports, and our mission has been just to gather information that we already talk about, and like Terry said yesterday, what you call it? We opened up our what?
We're publicizing our phone
We're
conversations.
publicizing our
Yes.
phone
That's
conversations.
what we're doing.
So we talk through phone conversations, and we also meet up and have dinner, and
Yes.
we connect each other's sons' basketball games because all of our sons may have played together at once, but now they're separate. So our mission is to inform parents, whether you're a mother or father, of our experiences, and hope that by sharing our experiences and opening up these phone conversations, you all learn some new things. Can educate us as well on things we don't know, because we also will have questions. And just to get started, we're going to introduce everybody and get started. Through the Nest, episode 1. I'm Lakita, the coach, Gantz. I have one son. His name is Robert, and he goes to UAD Jesuit. Go ahead,
Okay. My name is Sonia Waters Thomas, and I have 3 children. I have an 18-year-old Soleil. She's at Clemson University. I have Xavier Thomas Middle School. 14. I have Tyler Thomas. He's 11. I'm a married parent of 3, and I am a 9th grade coordinator at local high school.
Awesome. Next, we have Sunshine.
Hi, I'm Sunshine. I have a total of 9 kids.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ding. We're gonna give you a ding for that. She's our veteran mama.
I'm married to Sean Hill, known to everybody as Twig.
Whoop,
I have 3 that's currently in high school right now, and I have a daughter to play for Ohio Valley University, and my youngest is in the 8th grade. Yeah, it's kind of busy right now.
You
and
used
I'm-
to busy.
Right, what's busy for you?
Right, you nine
Right.
kids, you used to
Right.
busy.
You don't get tired.
I've been
Come on,
knowing you for
Sunshine,
10
you don't get
years.
Right. And I'm supervisor at the Doubletree downtown Detroit. What else? That's it for now.
Okay, all right, now we're gonna move over to Terry.
I don't really like talking much.
Yeah, right, okay.
We cannot tell.
I'm gonna give you a ding for that, 'cause that was
I'm joking.
yeah, okay.
I'm joking. My name's Terry. I'm Jamal's mom. He's a 10th grader at Warren Lincoln High School under Coach Waddell Henry. I'm a General Motors employee, a full-time student at Wayne County Community College, majoring in corrections. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Terry. Now we got Fly Tiffany.
Hey, my name is Tiffany Fuller. I am married to Robert Fuller. I have 2 boys, Jamil and Jordan Fuller. They're 14 and 11. They are in 8th and the 6th grade. They go to East Arbor Middle School, and I work for the Department of Health and Human Services, Wayne County. I am your local assistant payment worker.
Okay. And
Right.
I just want to say this. My favorite part of the intro video is when she says, I love those boys. That was like, I'm like, yes, yes. Next is Lauren.
So I don't know how I follow that, but I will. So, hi everyone, Lauren Bailey. I have two boys. So as you've probably seen in the video, Chuck third, he is at Southfield Christian, and Drew Bailey was at Baker Middle School. I'm a supplier strategy and engagement consulting for a local staffing agency. And my favorite book right now, I'm actually listening to Michelle Obama's Becoming. Definitely recommend it.
Oh, yeah.
Nice, nice. And I
Absolutely.
know we probably didn't get that question answered by the rest
Right.
of the moms,
Oh,
but
yeah, sorry,
when we come
sorry.
back around after Heather, I want you all to think about that book you're either currently reading, your favorite book. Go ahead, Heather.
So my name is Heather Reagan. I have 3 children. A 26-year-old who's in grad school in Philadelphia.
Nice.
What is he? He's 15. I have a 15-year-old, Philip Reagan. He is a 9th grader at U of D Jesuit. And then I have a 7th grader, daughter, Paige, who is at Olms Middle School. I had to think about that one.
Yeah.
I work in human resources and healthcare, and I'm reading Becoming as well right now.
That's a good book, I guess.
So that
'cause
makes
I'm
us
reading it too.
3.
I'm
Okay, number
reading it
4.
too.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm currently reading Michelle Obama, Becoming.
Yes.
And you are too? Okay. Anybody with a favorite book? Favorite book?
My favorite book is called I'm Okay, You're Okay. It's by Dr. Thomas.
Okay.
Is
And,
that me?
Yes.
The other
Dr.
Dr.
Thomas.
The other Dr. Thomas. And it's actually about life challenges, so it's pretty dope.
Nice. So one of the first questions I want to kind of go through is, anybody in here played sports in high school? And if you played a sport or not, an extracurricular activity, the question that is going to go follow that one is, how did your parents support you in whatever it was you were doing? So you can go, just chime in when you want to.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, so sports for me was not something that I was actually pushed in. It was something that you do as part of the curriculum in school. So if you had a gym class followed with whatever perspective sport that you were participating in. For me, it was track and field. So I knew nothing about basketball because I was too busy trying to be a girl. I wanted my nails painted. I wanted to make sure my hair was done. And then as far as basketball is concerned, 2 gentlemen seen me at the track meet. They used to have the decathlons at King. So we were running track, won the goals and things like that. So they were recruiting for, I want to say track, but I grew like 3.5 inches from the 8th grade entering into 9th grade. So they was thinking like, we got to get this kid who's kind of swift, but they was like, where's Sonya? And I was like, oh, up here. So they was looking for this kid who had not grown, but initially had grown 3.5 inches. So I was thrown into basketball. I hated it. I absolutely hated that summer. It was the worst thing of my life. And I didn't understand, like, how can you maintain your feminism and still participate and be aggressive in such an aggressive sport?
Mm-hmm.
But somebody seen something in me. And I remember my coach actually trying to encourage my mother to allow me to continue to play basketball. And he asked her, do you have $100,000 to send her to school? Mama was like, absolutely not. And he was like, okay, well, I promise you, if she does not get a scholarship, then I'll pay for her to go to school. Just let her play basketball.
Okay.
So that's how.
Okay, coach.
Yeah.
That was but he just
Yes.
knew how
He
much
just
potential
knew,
you had.
Yes.
To be honest.
Never having touched the basketball. And honestly, I might be showing my age, but nonetheless, we were still playing 3-lane basketball in middle school,
Wow.
where you couldn't cross half court, and then you had to pass the ball, and the only person that got the score was the people on the other side of the half court line. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
How old is that?
Shout out.
Yeah, I don't got
Shout
Shout out your nicely looking youth self. Your youth
Thank you.
self. Anyone else play a sport, participate in anything, and how were your parents? Go ahead, Lauren.
All right, so I had to make a list of the extracurricular stuff. But, so I actually I'll start with sports. So I did play basketball for all 4 years. I did run track for all 4 years. I
Nice.
played volleyball 9th and 10th grade, and then it was just too much. And then outside of that, I was a part of the National Honor Society, yearbook, newspaper, student government. I eventually
Hey.
Showing us
Hey.
something.
I
chose one.
I was one of.
I think she should've went
For
last.
our people, it wasn't that many of us, so I was like,
I know that's right.
Gonna do it?
Represent
Gonna
for our
do well.
people.
That's right.
But I will say I grew up in a single parent household, so my father actually passed when I was younger, and so it was just my mom. And so honestly, I didn't really have a ton of expectations in terms of
Right.
expecting her to be at my games or at my track meets. She basically just let me be free. She said, just handle your business academically and athletically, whatever you want to do, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna make sure you get there, whatever. But at the end of the day, I knew she was key in terms of making sure that tuition was paid, but so she supported me kind of behind the scenes. She wasn't necessarily visible at the games or any of that, but she definitely was, very much,
There.
supportive and there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good two-way
Mhm.
combination.
It
you know,
is.
'cause
So, and I would just say, I'm just very, our kids, especially my kids, being well-rounded. Because at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
that was passionate for me. I didn't want to just be, an athlete in school. I wanted to also be known for other things. So I would say,
Absolutely.
if anything, to parents, expose your kids to other things,
Amen.
I mean, just let them get exposure to other sports, even other activities, just outside of basketball.
Nice.
Right.
I like that.
Shout out you.
Shout out.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I never did sports, but I did band. And my
Okay.
dad was huge on that. He bought us all of these different instruments so that we can practice on, but he bought me a flute. I ended up playing the trombone, playing the trombone.
Yeah,
And I
that's a big
loved it.
instrument now that I think
Yes.
about it.
But my dad was at all of our shows that we put on and stuff like that. He was a big supporter of us. He made sure that we practiced and made sure that it was something that we were passionate about and that we were good at it.
Nice. Nice. All right, Heather.
So, I played basketball and volleyball. Oh, I played volleyball and basketball. More so of a recruitment. They're like, oh, you're tall. You know what? You should play basketball. And I know you all would never think that. I'm always looking at the other moms like, what's going on? But grew up in a single parent household in a very small town. So I was the only one of me.
Okay.
Played it for a couple of years and then found that cheerleading skirt.
Hey.
Yeah. So turned sports into the cheerleading component, and honestly, I was that student that, I could do it, but I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't always apply myself, so I think it makes me that much more of a tougher mom. Just wanting them to be able to, to push themselves.
Yeah.
So, a little different.
Sunshine.
I played volleyball, I ran cross country, track and field, and I played softball. My dad passed when I was very young.
Sorry.
So my mom, it still hurts to this day.
Yes. And lots of our students go through this.
Oh, yeah.
So my mom was single parent. She raised me. She was more like, as long as you take care of your business, whatever. I knew she had to get out and work. But I had grandparents. I had uncle. I had a good support system besides my mom. So it kind of helped out a lot. So that's why I think I'm kind of big on like being there for my kids, even though I have to stretch it out sometimes.
Yes.
No, you have to stretch it out.
Because I have my daughter play volleyball, then that's going on with cross country season going on, then my two sons run in, so it can be kind of stressful at times, but.
You make
Make
it
it
work.
work.
Yes, absolutely.
You
Been
make
making
it
it work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a task sometimes, but it works out.
Sacrifice
So
is the
the
name of the
crazy
game.
part is, I'm like, dang, what was the question I asked? So, I played in ninth grade. I played basketball. I was on the swim team, volleyball, and softball. So I was a four-sport child in my days, right? However, I just want to tell a little story. I did not play basketball going into high school. I didn't know anything about basketball. I played football with my god brothers all the time, and I tried out for the football team. And I never forget, I walked on that field and I'm like, yeah, I'm here to try out. He said, what position? I'm like, middle linebacker. He said, okay, honey, just sit on the bleachers for me right quick and I'll tell you when to be ready. That whole tryout went through and it was over. And I'm like, well, he didn't even need to come out there. And he said, honey, I want you to come with me. I went to Redford High School. And he said, I want you to come with me. I want you to go upstairs. I want you to meet somebody. And he introduced me to Coach Pope. He said, Coach Pope, this young lady, she would be a great basketball player. And I want you to help her do that. And that started me playing basketball. In the 9th grade, I worked really, really hard because I knew I didn't know how to, play basketball. I was an athlete because I played football, but I didn't know anything. So for 4 years, I worked really hard to teach myself a lot.
Absolutely.
Just so I can play something that I began to love. As far as my mother, my real father wasn't in my life. My stepfather, real stepfather, really mean to me, didn't come to anything. He was just mean to me. And my mom was a house mom. So she really couldn't come out because she was either cooking, cleaning, or doing whatever she had to do because she was the house mom. And it used to hurt me a lot, but for some reason, God always let the things that were bad for me, he always let me look at the good part. And I really didn't care who came. As long as I had my ball, I was able to play. I was good. So although she wasn't there, like she said, she was still a supportive mom on the backside. And that was, like I said yesterday, talking about how she took me to the library every day, made sure I was doing my homework. In that area, she made me very, very sound. And that's really what has gotten me farther than anything, my academics. So maybe she wasn't there for the games, but she was there to put that education.
Hit that bell real quick.
Up.
Yes,
Put
yes,
the
yes.
education into my life. So I'm grateful for that. All right. The next question is, as basketball moms, or as sports moms right now, because all of us have some of us have more than one child and more than one son or daughters. What are you currently struggling with? Just what's something you're currently struggling with
Testify.
when it comes to dealing with what you're going through right now? I think this is going to help a lot of parents out there who are actually listening to us because we're struggling with this now. So you go ahead because your face has like, oh my God.
No, just even leaving today. So having a son and a daughter. Okay, so I have a basketball player and a dancer. And it seemed like, I swear for the last 6-7 years, every time something's basketball going on, same thing's going on in dance. So it's like, okay, I can only be in one place at one time. Typically in basketball, it's in Indiana, Ohio. So it's not like, okay, let me run up the street and then go to dance real quick. So it has been a struggle. And I think my daughter, more so than my son, because he's a little more independent, he's got a big group of guys he's around, she struggles with that. Like, well, why is everybody always going to basketball? What about dance? And it's extremely different, sitting through recitals.
Yeah.
Siblings tend to get jealous.
They
Sure.
do.
And that's
They
a
do.
big
Yeah, one
deal.
kid asking, what about
Yep.
me?
What
Why
about
we can't
me?
get that much time?
Exactly.
So I know we used to, one would go to basketball, one would go to dance. But then it was, okay, well, mom never comes to basketball, dad never comes to dance. So it's just trying to find that middle ground, and support each other. So and then today she's like, oh, I'm trying out for volleyball. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I saw her earlier at practice. I was beat too. I was like, go ahead, girl, volleyball. And when she said that, and your husband said it, all I kept thinking about was this one right here.
Paige, I got somebody I can introduce you to, girl.
Well, and I said to her, I'm like, I
Yes.
wish you would have said something a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I could introduce you to someone.
Yes.
They already
Yes.
think Esther's her brother. I'm like, your big sister could have helped
Yes.
you.
So I definitely was thinking about Sonya when he said that. That's a good and that's the connection, like how we all help each other, but that's how everybody can be. Anybody else with a struggle that
Yeah, I
you
think
just
if-
can't.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was
You
just
good.
thinking because I'm excited, and I was thinking, just sitting here, I was like, okay, so they changed the time of Xavier's basketball game. So I'm like, okay, is it 4? Is it 5? I'm like, okay, if it's 5, then I'm like, dang, I could stay for 30 minutes. And I sit here, I'm like, damn, I get a text, and they're like, he dunked real good, you missed it. I'm like, can I answer the phone? I'm like, can I? But it's balancing the time and making sure that your children understand. Yes, why you can't make it to everything, but it's exhausting to say the least. Like my daughter was in her AAU season with volleyball. Volleyball for us took, with them playing at the elite level, it took us all across the country. So when I'm off, not with volleyball, it was basketball. So I never got a break. the stress level is more than anybody can actually see. And you know, I tell people like, you make it look easy, but it's not easy on me.
No.
You know, the time management, organizing, and getting rest for yourself, that's minimum. And it's like, I'm constantly thinking about what I'm gonna do tomorrow, who I gotta pick up, who got homework. And sometimes you lose yourself. And I'm married. It's like, okay, hey,
Right.
like you gotta squeeze it in. So, you know, it is tough. But when it's all said and done, you know, it's hard, but it's fair because it's necessary. And, you know, as a mother, yeah, you make sacrifices for your kids. And sometimes you're going to miss something, but it's making sure that your child or your children make sure that there's a balance.
But that's where I love this group because Keita's out of town last week and she's like, you know, let me know what Rob does in the game. I'm like, okay, I'm keeping stats.
And
You
it's,
know,
and,
I'm
yeah.
and
or-
it's crazy because I have a game tomorrow, and when we just on our way over here, I said, yeah, I'm talking on the phone. We're playing Bowling Green tomorrow, and my son said, so you're not gonna be at my game? And I said, babe, I told you I won't be at any more January games, and that for me is hard. It's really hard. The first one that I missed, I was on the road, and I cried because it's just like I know that he needs me there, regardless of what anybody says. And even if he say it's okay, when you've been there, they
Right.
miss you. And that's, you know, something that's really difficult for me. So
I need Keita there.
It's extremely tough for me because I don't have a other person that can go for me or go take them and I'll meet you there. I don't have that. I don't have somebody that goes to the same school so I can like record for me or let me know what he does or make sure he's okay. I don't have that. So for me, it's extremely tough. I probably cry every other day on the way to the game because sometimes I don't feel like going. I can have a tummy ache. I can supposed to be somewhere else. I could just want to lay down. I can't. And I can't say, such and such is going to be there for you or just get a ride home with. I don't have it right now. I don't. And so I have to go. I have to be there. So I can have the worst anything going on with me, but I have to go and sit and be supportive and smile and say, go, 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 even when I don't want to. I don't get to have any kind of other life. Right now I don't. Probably in 2 more years when he goes to college because he says it's going really far, yes. But right now I don't get any other kind of life. So I'm like,
He's just saying that.
He's going to be right here. I'm like cooking and everything. So yeah, it's really, really stressful for me. I don't spread.
you want to go, or you want Tip to go? You got something to say, Tip? You got a struggle?
Same thing. My
Same
husband
time.
owns, my husband owns a barber shop, so he's always working. And I have 2 that I have to either get training, practice,
Yeah.
and I have to spread myself out. And it's times that actually this summer I kind of like broke down, like I can't do it. I can't, I can't be. You have to get off earlier. You know what I'm saying, to help me. So I do struggle with that. Getting them in multiple places with just being me and figuring out, oh, can you help me do this? Or, appearing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
What about you, Sunshine? 'Cause I'm going to say you make it look
I'm
easy.
fortunate enough. My oldest is 26. My next one is 24. My son is 21. And a 19-year-old. And I have an 18-year-old.
Support.
I have 5 drivers in the house.
Hey.
Driver license.
I need just one. Just one driver.
So, if I can't make it, trust and believe.
Somebody.
Somebody, big sister, big brother's gonna be there to support the young ones.
That's right.
They drop them off, pick
Let's
them
go.
up for
Nice.
practice, I got support now, so.
Can you give me one?
It's a load off.
Can I have one of the drinks?
Oh, when my daughter said she was going to grad school in Philadelphia, I almost said no, simply because that, like, no, see, I need
you.
I need your help.
Yeah.
So when we think
So-
about purpose, because this is the segment where we talk about the topic, purpose, how are we purposely doing things to create the platform that we want for our children? What have we done? And I'll give an example so we can kind of understand. For example, in the 4th grade, I was already looking at coaches and looking at schools and looking at people to say, where would I want my son to fit in or be a part, what do I want to be a part of as a 9th grader? Because I do believe that the high school that you choose is very important, especially if you want to have stability and stay for 4 years, right? And at the time, I used to watch Coach Donnelly. I mean, I never forget the first time I saw him coach against an urban school, and I was like, dang, wow, he beat them, and he didn't have the most talent. So I was already looking at UAD 4th grade, and he's been there now since 7th. This is his 3rd year. So I purposely put that in place. How do we purposely plan? How are we purposely planning for, or have planned for our sons or daughters when it comes to what we want them to have?
Well, I'll say, at least, speaking of being purposeful, mine was not from a sporting perspective. Everything, my selection always was the foundation of academics. So I just figured like academics, if you can do the academic part, sports is secondary. So selecting the preschools that they went to, I went to, shout out to A Step Ahead. I refer anybody to A Step Ahead on Livernois, okay?
All day, every day,
So,
yes.
you know, going in there doing the tours, and then they'll say, listen, if your kid can walk, not potty trained 2.5, my kids have never been babysat. They have been sitting in a desk since 2.5. And with that being said, establish the academic foundation is paramount for me. So I want them to be academically sound. So that's just a small piece. When I say small piece regarding the sports, that's secondary, but it can trump everything, because as far as I'm concerned, the main goal is for them to go to college to get that school tuition paid for.
Paid for.
So,
Paid for.
if one fall through, then you can always fall back on your academics. But
Exactly.
academics was, I was very purposeful in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna add to that. I completely agree because, I mean, y'all know me. I'm always
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason why, you know, early on, we had moved to Troy and, because it was one of the top school districts in the state.
Mhm.
And I was, you know, adamant about that. In fact, I will say, like, you know, my oldest son, little Chuck, really excelled in math. So he
He
was in
does.
honors math for, you know, once he hit middle school. And so, and I was proud of that because I'm like, and that just showed him too, like, look, you can be a strong athlete and basketball player, but you also are a talented mathematician. Like, dude, like, you got skills outside the court. And just trying to help him understand, in terms of a platform, understanding, okay, once you get to college or even beyond college, you know, when we start talking about careers,
Sure.
there is definitely ways that you can use that, whether it's in business, you know, operations, you know, for an NBA team, like just helping them see beyond basketball. Like, for example, 2 summers ago, we did this architecture camp. Now, mind y'all, I didn't even know that there was anything that existed.
Yes.
I Googled it, like National Black or Minority Architects in Detroit,
Mhm.
and found this camp, and then through that, found another camp because he had mentioned building sporting arenas and stadiums. So I was like, boom, like there's that math, you know, being
Yeah.
applied there. So just
Exactly,
keeping our
exactly.
kids open to the fact that, you know, beyond basketball, there's so
Sure.
much out there for them. So that's where I stand
Yeah.
with that.
And to add to that, it's the same thing, and I'm getting to the point that you made about looking and researching for things.
Mhm.
The first thing, Robert loves to sing. He loves music. And so my goal to him was, well, how about you be a producer? And I'll put you with people so you can go and see if this is what you like. Even with the whole, he's really good at math as well. And I'm letting one of my homegirls, she's an engineer, graduated from Michigan, AJ. And I'm like, I must put you with her, you shadow her, because you may like it. Because he's like, I don't want to be an engineer. I'm like, you don't know, because you don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
It's so many different type of engineers, you may enjoy this
Right.
and make a lot of money. I'm sorry.
No, when I say he fought me, I'm sorry, Heather. When I say he fought me, I was like literally walking up the stairs at UAD Mercy, where the hip hop architecture camp was being held that summer. It was like when it was time to pick him up,
He went
he
leave.
didn't want to leave. So I
Right,
was
you know how
like,
that go.
That's good.
It's
That's
work.
good.
Can you find it?
No, I think academics, to your point, yes, step ahead, Miss G, Miss Bird.
Hey.
Look, any day of the week. And we've always been purposeful with that. You know, we ended up putting him a grade ahead, you know, but it was a strategic thing. You know, we worked with this pediatrician. Okay, we're going to move him back to his right grade, but we want to be able to challenge him. So, you know, everything was monitored. So 7th grade, we went back to his right grade. Because from a maturity standpoint, he wasn't ready. But also, you know, I wanted him to really be able to experience, you know, being with his peers. UAD, from an academic standpoint, was always our first choice. But to your point, he went to basketball camp in Donnelly, just really seeing how those boys, because at the time Cassius was still there,
Okay.
and seeing how the older ones interacted with the younger ones, it just said something, you know, it said something to me, because it wasn't like it was, okay, I'm being forced to be here. They genuinely wanted to be there and work with these younger boys.
Nice.
So that right there, I was like, and every year we went back, I'm like, yeah, he's going to UD.
Anybody ready to talk? Because I just want to say this. although we all here, because I've been around enough of you, all of you know, we push academics, but the part that I want to expand on is although we push academics, our son, my son in particular, still has had trials and tribulations. Even though he's smart, even though I say you gotta have this and you need to be this way, he still thinks it's hard, especially at UAD where he is now. And I've always wanted to keep him excited about education. I always pray, God, please just let him keep loving learning, because if I can help him and keep him loving it, it may not be so hard.
Right.
And even though things come easy to him, the part about the work ethic part is what I'm struggling with him now. It's like,
Consistent motivation.
yes, it's like, oh, it's hard though. This teacher just gives too much homework. I got 27 pages, and I'd be like, I get it, because I'll be looking the same way as well. However, this is where we are, so let's figure out how to get through it. I just talked to his coaches today, and I'm like, listen, he's not doing the athlete study table anymore. He'll be with the teacher after school and the principal's office after that until it's time for practice, because he cannot separate social life, academic life enough that he's being his
Still
greatest,
focused, yeah.
you know, so.
Yeah.
That we have, go ahead.
Yeah, to your point, you know, just speaking with the coaches, because I think last year was really difficult, because I felt like he was getting in trouble every day. I'm like, my God, if I get one more email, something he does, or jug,
Yeah.
as we call him, right? And, right, I
Hate
remember, right. And this is when I really realized, like, oh, basketball, they are serious about this, because again, academics is what pushes me. And I remember saying, okay, you know what, here's the consequence. You get a jug, you're not playing in the game.
That's where I'm at now.
And when I went to do it, because they would play in the CYO, but then they would play some of the game our kids outside of the CYO, and he got a jug, and I benched him, and I was, you know, the counselor was like, well, you're gonna bench him? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna bench him. You and I talked about this. This is what the rule was, and he said, but they're not playing CYO. Oh, okay. He shouldn't have acted up.
Exactly.
You know, and he was like, but it's bigger than just him. And I'm
No,
like,
it's bigger than basketball.
Right, and I said, well, here's the thing.
Literally.
I'm always gonna be mom, and if I give out or give into this now, I lose my credibility.
True.
So he was benched
Yeah, I know
for that
that's
game.
Stand firm.
With Jamal and his struggle, so he's a shorter kid, a really short kid, sorry, it was my fault. So for a while, he
Purpose. I
did.
did get with it. I can't lie.
Oh, no. I got it from his mama.
So it came from me, and it's my fault. So sorry. So for us, that was a problem for him for a while. Now he's kind of over that, but our agreement is, first of all, grades are period. You have to be on the honor roll. C's can't come to my house. You're not playing ball at all. I don't care what any coach says. But I did have to also look for a coach that cared as much about academics as I did. And our agreement is, he's in the junior pilots program. So right now, Jamal has his junior pilot's license, so it's kind of like a pilot for me.
Nice.
Yeah, Jamal can fly a plane as long as there's an adult in it with a small plane. It's a certain amount of things. So he's required to do that. When they come once a year for the summer. They go for like a month. They go every single day, 6 in the morning. They fly, they learn. He's required to do that, and let him go play basketball however you want, as long as our grades are met. And that's our agreement, and that's how we deal with it.
Nice.
We got equal medium. That's our scale.
Kudos to Jamal.
Hey,
Yeah.
can you fly me somewhere?
I know. I'm the same way. I'm big on, if you're not on the honor roll, you cannot play basketball. So you have to work hard. You have to be A's and B's, no C's in my household either. But I'm struggling with that right now as far as high schools, trying to figure out academically what's the best fit for them. I also want them to be in some type of program or go to a school that has that associate's degree when you get out, because me, I stopped going to school and now I'm struggling to go back to college to get my associate's degree. So I want them to have some type of trade or some type of skill, or to make sure they can get out of high school with an associate, some type of degree. Or so now that's what I'm looking for, and it's stressing me out because
You gotta
Yes. I would love for them to do like a UAD or, some country day or a different school like that, but I live so far away, but so I'm looking around to see what choices that I have, and we just talked about that last night.
Exactly.
So
And it's gonna happen. God gonna tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Nah, she not gonna say nothing.
Figured out
But
the easy way.
I don't care what I'm gonna say. Let me tell you, this one right here, Sunshine. When I first met her, the most impressive thing that I loved she did not play with those 9. You don't have this GPA, you ain't playing.
Period.
Flat out, it go down, and it became a competition for them. So I was honored to like watch her raise her kids, because when I met her, Robert was only 4. And I'm like, shoot, Robert, your butt gonna be like that too. So, you know, and I think, you know, some parents, I feel like it's a little hard to say you have to, you need to, but you have to push them to a limit that they don't know they have.
Yeah.
And just giving them those expectations alone kind of motivates them to be what we really want them to become.
So
And
I struggle with that, and I wish my son was on the honor roll all the time. UAD, when I say literally, he's up to midnight
yes.
doing homework, and grades look good, and then here comes this final.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what do you mean 25% of the grade?
Exactly.
And it just, you know, but my thing is, I know when he's trying and when he's not. So
Mhm.
my thing is, if you try and you've done your best and you're comfortable with what you've done, and this is what the outcome is, we're good.
My 2.9 is good right now. First semester high school. Woo. So I think, you know, anybody else, you know, guys, let me say we're going to wrap it up in a minute and thank our sponsors. But I think that we all are where we want to be to a certain degree. However,
Getting on our
way.
we get there. But I mean, each episode will be better because we will have more for you guys. I mean, anybody got some closing words?
We just stay tuned. Make sure you tune in every week. We got stay tuned. Make sure you tune in every week. We got a lot of topics. We got a lot of hot guests. That's every week. We're gonna let you know the time. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you always tune in, and then go to our YouTube page so you can see what's going on with us.
Who's our sponsor with the lemonades today?
We got a House of Lemonade, Strawberry Lemonade. Our sponsor,
Woo!
sponsored us our
Sponsor
drinks.
House of
Shout out House of
Lemonade.
Lemonade.
Shout out to Enjoy Detroit,
Detroit
our
for-
t-shirt
for the gear.
sponsors.
Got us in the hot
Boom.
gear.
If you want a t-shirt, please hit us up on any of our social media. We got t-shirts for everyone. And then lastly, Horatio Williams is
Shout
another
out
sponsor.
H.
So shout out to Horatio Williams Foundation.
Yeah. Shout
We're
out
looking
our
for more
sponsors.
sponsors, so
Shout out
you
all
want to
our
sponsor us?
A whole bunch of stuff need to be paid for.
But this was great. And
Yeah.
that's episode 1.
See
Purpose.
you guys next week.
See you
Put it
later.
in the bag.
Peace. I like the bell is my thing.
Yes.
I said I was gonna buy you a bill.
I think that went
Yes,
good.
excellent. It went really, really well.
Compared to my day, I was this is good.
Good.
All right, Jason, what you think?
Good.
All right, you got any ideas?
If it was bad, would you tell us?
thoughts?
All right.
Oh,